to all the STEM and signature participants. Ms. Archambault and Ms. Slaughter have asked me to help you prepare for your presentations that you're going to be giving over reunion weekend. And so I have a few tips for you. The first thing to think about is how you are speaking. And there's a few different things to really focus on. The first thing to focus on is your articulation. And so that's how you're saying your words. If I mumble through my words and you can't really understand me, that is very frustrating for people in the audience. They can't hear what you're saying because it's too garbled. So you want to make sure that you are enunciating every consonant and making sure that the words are coming out very clearly. The best way to do that is to take it slow. So that leads me to my next tip of how you are speaking. Tempo, those of you who are musicians know what tempo is, and you're going to apply that to how you're speaking. It's your pace. So speaking very quickly is not going to allow your audience to understand what you're saying. You have to speak much slower than you think you need to. This is a very, very important point. It feels a little awkward, but it really comes through very cleanly to the audience. So please make sure that you are slowing yourself down. If you need to take a few breaths before you begin, or even in between what you are saying, that will help slow you down. The next thing that has to do with how you are speaking is your projection or your volume. You want to make sure that everybody in your audience can hear you. And so what you want to do is really speak from your gut. If you do some breathing from your chest, you can feel your chest rise and fall. But you can also take a deep breath from your gut and feel your stomach fill up, and that's where you really want to be speaking from. You want to make sure that your voice is projecting around the room so that everybody can hear you clearly. So far we have articulation, projection, and tempo. The last thing I want to point out about how you are speaking is to be very conscientious about using filler words, something like or or Those are very tricky words to avoid when you're giving a presentation. I even want to use one right now. It's very difficult. What you want to do is really take it slow. So going back to tempo, taking it slowly is going to help you avoid the ums and the uhs. You also need to figure out a way to get comfortable with the silence. It's okay for the audience to have a little pause while you're talking. You might feel a natural tendency to fill it in with but it actually comes across as the presenter not knowing something. It's better to have a pause than to say or A really good way to tackle the uhs and the ums is to practice your presentation and record yourself, and then watch it. Count how many times you said or and then go back and figure out why did you say or in that moment. So that was all about how we're speaking. The next part is about your body language, which is very important in a presentation or a performance. The first thing is that you want to constantly be facing your audience. If you need to turn around for a quick moment, such as if you have a PowerPoint presentation behind you, you could turn around and give a gesture like this, but then you want to turn right back around. You want to make sure that your shoulders are facing the audience. You don't want to be sideways like this. This is called cheating out. It means having your shoulders square with the audience. You also want to make sure that you're making eye contact with everybody in the room. It's a very difficult thing to do, and often when you get nervous, you might just fixate on one person. But you really want to try to be conscientious about looking at all of the audience members. When you're using your hands to make gestures as you're speaking, you want to find a happy medium. You don't want to use them too much because it takes away from what you're saying, but you also don't want to just have them hanging down beside you the whole time because it's a little boring to look at. A natural resting place is to just kind of have them clasped in front of you. It's good to, you could cross your arms a little bit, but don't do that too much. I think a clasp in front of you or on your hips is okay. You could use your hands to gesture and point. You can use them to articulate something that you're saying, but don't go too crazy because it really detracts from what you're saying. Be conscientious about your facial expressions. Smile. Like I said, use eye contact. Raise your eyebrows when you're interested in something. Nod. Be engaged with the audience. If you have something to hold, like note cards, like I have, you want to have it in a pretty inconspicuous location. So generally right in front of your belly is a good place to have it. If you need to raise it once in a while, that's okay. Don't keep them up here. And don't keep them so low that you have to look down at them. You want to have them at the ready, and then if you need to look quickly, you can put them right back down. If you have a PowerPoint that you're working with, which I understand most of you do, please try to avoid just reading straight from the PowerPoint. It can be a very tedious chore for an audience member to sit through a presentation where all the presenter is doing is reading what's on the PowerPoint. We want to hear your thoughts about things, not just the facts that are on the PowerPoint presentation. So it's great to have certain facts up on the PowerPoint, but enrich the presentation by really embellishing what those facts are about and how you feel about them. So I hope this helped you out. Those of you who've been through Revels with me know all of this already, probably, and this is going to help all of you who are going to be doing Revels next year. So good luck with your STEM and signature presentations. I hope you have a great reunion weekend.